Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay, and I will be doing my presentation on censorship in high school English classes. This is a topic that's been debated a lot, and I believe it's an important one for all teachers and parents to know about. So, what are banned or challenged books? When a book is challenged, that means that either a parent or teacher has raised a concern about the content of the book and has asked for it to be evaluated to determine its appropriateness for this specific age level. There are hundreds of books that have been challenged, everything from picture books to chapter books in elementary, middle, and high school levels. If the book is determined to be inappropriate, then it's removed from the shelf of wherever it's been challenged, and then it becomes a banned book. 30% of banned or challenged books are banned or challenged from public schools. This means that they're either removed from the library shelves or have been challenged in the classroom. And if they're taken from the library shelves, they are also not allowed to be used in class curriculum either. There are plenty of elementary and middle school examples, and I'll talk about those a little later, but right now I wanted to focus on high school classes. This book, The Kite Runner, was recently challenged at the school that I work at. The teacher of a senior level communications class had selected this novel, and parents contested that it contained language and scenes that were too graphic for their students, who were all 17 and 18 years old. These parents insisted that the curriculum be changed and that a new book be chosen to replace the inflammatory one. The Giver is another book that has been challenged in numerous schools and public libraries. It has been used across the country to discuss the importance of choice and individuality, as well as the care of the elderly and children. However, it was banned in one Oregon school when parents were opposed to its portrayal of infanticide and euthanasia. One parent was quoted as saying, "This book is negative. I read it. I don't see the academic value in it. Everything presented to kids should be positive or historical, not negative." So, what's the big deal with these books being challenged? In the case of these two books that I just shared, the topics contained in both novels are ones that students will encounter many times in their lives and perhaps have already come in contact with. With The Kite Runner, teachers aren't choosing this book with controversial topics like racism, sexual assault, or with The Giver, human euthanasia. They're not choosing it just to be controversial. They are trying to teach important life lessons. English teacher Andrew Simmons said, "We want them to love books, but also to survive. We want to turn out good citizens who practice in the streets and at the office what they identify as moral and good in class. English teachers, it seems, are in a unique position to impose some degree of emotional and moral rigor on the curriculum. English teachers don't teach these important stories because they want to batter students with the darkness in human nature. Academic goals aside, fellow teachers told me that they want to help students cope with real life, even when portions of that reality are unpleasant and disturbing." Teachers come across this topic often enough that one researcher decided to find out some legitimate facts. Christopher Ferguson, a researcher who has observed the effects of violent video games on children, also did research on children who read quote-unquote banned books. He found that banned books do have an effect on children, but it's a positive one. According to his research, banned books are associated with increased civic and volunteering behavior and a low risk of antisocial behavior. Ferguson hypothesized that this is because of the themes often contained in controversial books. Stories that reveal the darker sides of human nature present teaching opportunities for parents and teachers, and they require deeper, sympathetic thinking on the part of the student. Despite the positive findings of Ferguson's research, some people still support a lot of censorship in schools. Plato, a Grecian philosopher, said that a young person cannot judge what is allegorical and what is literal, and therefore it is most important that the tales which the young first hear should be virtuous. While this statement does support censorship for children in elementary and perhaps even middle school, High school is not a place where students should be forming the base of moral principles. This is done at an earlier age, and high school is a place to explore deeper concepts and ask questions about morality. High schoolers are preparing to be adults, and discussing controversial topics in a structured environment is a good way to prepare their adult minds. Cambridge professor Stephen Hunt said that children should learn how to deal with sensitive or controversial topics in a structured setting, and that the classroom can be a rehearsal for dealing with more immediate controversy in the playground, home, or community. Sadly, the implementation of these principles is easier said than done. There are many times that the teacher's professional and personal lives have been damaged by lengthy debates that take place in courts of law or in school district offices over the topic of censored books. Having their selected books challenged or banned makes teachers hesitant in the future to select any material that might be sensitive and limits the resources the school feels they're able to use without parents getting upset. The way we as a society deal with controversial books needs to be adjusted. What we need are parents who are willing to let their kids learn through raw, real-life materials. We need to prepare the future generation, and that can't be done by only giving them books that are positive or historical. Teachers can help educate parents on the quality of class material by being open about the curriculum and communicating with parents about what the class will be discussing. But ultimately, teachers cannot effectively do their job without the support of parents. There is a place for censorship. Elementary and middle school age children should probably have their materials monitored. But if we want our teenagers to become adults who are emotionally and socially smart, we must allow them to read books that give them their chance at that growth. If parents want to get involved with what their kids are reading, there are plenty of great resources. Compass Book Ratings and Common Sense Media are two websites where parents can find book reviews. Compass has their books reviewed by a board of reviewers that evaluates qualities such as violence, language, and sexual content, as well as suggesting an age range for the readers. Common Sense Media is a forum for parents and teens to write their own reviews as books, as well as movies and music. This is an open forum, so the reviews aren't moderated as much as Compass Books, but it still gives reviews evaluating the same qualities. To end, I'd like to share this quote from Lois Lowry, the author of The Giver. She says, "If we want a more educated, morally developed society, we should start by teaching our young adults with media that allows them to explore more than just the topics they are already comfortable with. It's okay for a parent to say, 'I don't want my child to read this book,' but it is not okay for anyone to try and make that decision for other people."